Good evening, folks. I am your host, Fred Railing Taylor, this evening. Uh, Welcome. This is your first time listening to JFE podcast. Um, Congratulations, you found us. I am doing a sporadic, um, unadvertised podcast on the network group. Just solo of me tonight. Uh, just going to talk about a couple of different things, catch you up on some Saber stuff. Um, Talk about the last post I did on the network group about The Undertaker, uh, update you on that, and just a little bit of other things to cover on tonight's edition. Again, I'm Fred Verling Taylor, one half of the or one of the trio of the JFE podcast. Jimmy decided he wanted to take the night off. Um, I just want to clarify on the announcement I made yesterday for having a podcast at Hotel Henry in downtown Buffalo. Unfortunately, I honestly didn't have a vehicle to do so, and just things weren't going the way they were, and I never announced uh, anything on the network, so I apologize. I'm gonna We're gonna try to do a podcast next week Tuesday. Should be around 10:30. Well, no, I can't. Next week's gonna be busy Tuesday, so it might be in 2 weeks Tuesday that I do one at Hotel Henry, because that's the only time me and Jimmy can get together at this point to do a podcast. Uh, so I apologize for posting that prematurely without, without you know realizing what was going on at that point. So getting that out of the way, uh, I want to talk about the one of the posts I made on the network group that involved a poll that I did talking about what should I talk about on the next podcast. At one point, I talked about the Bills and the Sabres and that sort of stuff, and then I talked about Shiny with Gary. So I want to just briefly touch on Shiny um, with Gary. So that uh, I really what Shiny is just when me and Gary were on the bus. I want to say almost 10 years ago. Getting close to it. I was during my late high school years, and quite frankly, Gary was on my bus when he was younger. If I was getting off the high school bus, I had to take like an elementary or middle school bus to get home for after school stuff. So, long story short, I would end up seeing Gary and I use a paint, and we called it Shiny. Well, Gary can be a goofball at times. He's a lovable goofball. He's a great guy. But I used to put the shiny up, and he's like, shiny, 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 shiny. Now, I don't have the camera to show you my facial reactions and everything, but oh my, yeah, it's yeah, that's just crazy. It's been almost 10 years since I've done it, and every once in a while I'll tease him about it. Uh, Yeah, I see that he's going to Vegas next week. So God bless Gary. Uh, wow, you know, great for him. Hope he does well. He's got a lot going with him with his shows with Mega Fortune and film reviews. Uh, a lot of stuff going on the network. I'm just be proud. I'm just proud to be part of it. It's great. See, you got a little bit of a reaction to um, Gary's actually reacting to the podcast, which is great. Um, so again, it's just me tonight. It's nobody else. Um, so all right, just a little touch on that, and now on to the Undertaker thing that I did, and I talked about Undertaker's greatest rivals at one point. Uh, I have got to find that poll that I did. because I don't remember uh, where it is on the network. If somebody could find it for me, what the results were, uh, that would be great. Uh, but I still plan on doing a Undertaker special. It's been 25 plus years since his debut at Survivor Series, and Survivor Series is coming up. I believe in a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And also bringing back Starcade as a WWE pay per view for the SmackDown brand. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, how the pay per view is going to work out since it's still in the month of November. Uh, Thanksgiving's around the corner. Uh, wow, I can't believe we're in November already. It's going to be almost 2 more weeks already now. Golly. And they're already playing Christmas music. It started yesterday too on Star 102.5 in downtown Buffalo, and playing throughout the FM stations around Western New York and so on and so forth. To be honest with you, as far as the oh, Gary posted that up. Oh, great! Thank you, Gary, for doing that. I appreciate you listening. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to go back to that in a second, Gary. But yeah, man, I should hire him more as my person. That's perfect. That is perfect. I'm gonna thank Gary right now. Yeah. So what? I don't even remember what I was just talking about. I got. I just saw that pop up, and yeah, I got on the Undertaker track. I was talking about Survivor Series and Starcade. Uh, talking about yeah, I was talking about Star Wars 2.5. I also saw that Mix 96 was doing a sprinkle of it. Okay, I was gonna admit that for I it's too early for me to listen to a lot of Christmas music. Give me about another week or two for listening to Christmas music. I'm just right now. A lot of you may feel the same way. A lot of you may not. I just feel that it's just too early for me. I cannot get in the spirit right away. I just want to focus on the meaning of Thanksgiving, the meaning of just the idea of family and getting together and being blessed about a country, being blessed about our world, being blessed about seeing a different tale and just embracing each other. Uh, celebrate the people that travel from uh, England or Spain and came to Plymouth and all that good stuff. Um, so yeah, I just that's a one of those holidays where it's like that's important to me. That's important to me being with family and everything. That you words can't describe it. I don't even consider Halloween a house. For me, it's like it's fun to do. It's fun to go trick or treating. It's fun to get interact with people and stuff. But I haven't been into doing any costumes for the last while. That's just not my style. And really, I wear my Halloween costume 24/7, 365 days a year. I honestly joke that I wear my mask all the time. It's my ugly face, whatever. Uh, but topping back to the um, that poll I did, top 10 Undertaker's greatest rivals. I was there enough. I guess there's a five for Triple H. One for was there one for Batista, one for Rock, Mick Foley, Edge. Um, I wish we got a couple more votes on some of the stuff because um, I'm surprised that nobody voted for Mankind Mick Foley because that was a huge rivalry back in the mid '90s with Undertaker, Mankind, Mick Foley, talking about their infamous Hell in Cell match and everything, among other matches during that time period. But that's another show. That's going to be another show. Uh, and if anybody if anybody wants to join that particular podcast, Gary, if you're welcome to join on that subject. Just let me know when a date works for you, or Jerome, or who's the titty guy. Whoever is interested, I that would be interesting debate to talk about. Interesting at different points of view on those feuds. Because you could go through it, the list that I made kind of span through a little bit of different eras of the Undertaker, different incarnations. Uh, did I even put Shawn Michaels on? Yeah, I did put Shawn Michaels. How can you not put Shawn Michaels on that list? Um, it's in no particular order, but I forgot about Kurt Angle too. But I don't know. I want to consider it too much of a rivalry. I mean, that was kind of, there's times they had matches in like early 2000s, and then it was like last from time I remember it was like '06, but it wasn't really. I wouldn't consider that a rivalry. So on my off my rant, also isn't the Star Wars movie come out that year, this month or next month, with the Last Jedi? Uh, that would be interesting topic conversation on that one. Um, um, Stemming off of the Force Awakens that was released a few years ago about the same time. Um, that was one of my favorite Star Wars films. That helped me get into a lot of Star Wars, watching classic stuff and some of the early 2000s stuff. That was just and my friend Emerson got me hooked on that too. So props to Emerson for doing that. Uh, Again, yeah. So just gonna touch. Okay, shifting gears for a little bit, touching on the Buffalo Sabres. Um, they won last night against the Washington Capitals by a score of 3-1. It was on national TV, NBCSN. Uh, great game to watch. Uh, um, I gotta admit, it's been frustrating this year, especially when we had a little bit more higher expectations. Um, New coaching, new general manager. Granted, I didn't want the old general manager and coach to get fired, but they talk about culture, morale, and environment a lot of these days, and it doesn't just apply to hockey; it applies to business environments and everything. So I can understand the change, and even though the results are not there yet, it seems like, from what I'm hearing and stuff, it seems like a better environment to be in for the players, and they respect the coach a lot more. It seems like. So I'm happy. I mean, if they get close to the playoffs this year, I'd be happy um, to be in contention. So that's much I'm going to touch on that. And as far as the Bills, I mean they were due for a loss against the Jets in some respects, but I was hoping that wouldn't happen on the last Thursday night's game. Uh, Disappointing to say the least, but you got to at least win the next 2-3 in my book. Reset yourself and just press forward. They'll have Kevin Benjamin in the lineup that was acquired last week from Carolina. Uh, so I'm hoping on that. That will help spark the offense a little bit more. I think Charles Clay is returning to lineup this coming Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, so yeah. Oh, and retouch on Sabres with the injuries too. With Boyu out and Risto being out, Blaze victim. I think Georges has an injury. I mean, I we were saying this last year too with the injuries and complain about the defensive back end not scoring. I would like to still see that, but as long as they can move the puck up to the forwards as a 5-man unit, I'd be okay with that. Getting out of their own zone, working, making sure they're, all four, especially Jack, and keep working, keep improving your defensive play in the defensive zone end. I could go on about that, but again, another time, another place. This is just a brief touch up of everything. Getting my thoughts off a little bit. I watched the last wrestling pay per view, not with my cousin Quigley this time around. I wish I could have watched it with him because I usually most times watch it with him. Uh, Help me out with the pay per view. Um, I know some of you don't like watching WWE Pro because you think it's boring or you have some beef, whether it's ridiculous or not or credential. I would prefer not to argue with that at this point. There'll be another time, another place too. I can't wait to debate about that at some point too, because some people don't like the current state of WWE product. You know who you are. Um, I can understand it from your perspective, but at the same time, I try to understand it from a storyline perspective. Uh, Sometimes I'll miss shows too, but sometimes when you're out of the watching Raw and SmackDown continuously, it does get murky to follow certain things. Um, I've been watching a lot of WWE Network, especially WCW Monday Nitro, trying to catch up on that. Through midnight, I'm up to the mid 1997 era of Nitro. Oh yeah, I watched Tables, Layers, and Cheers, and I did watch Hell in a Cell. Just a brief recap of Hell in a Cell. I enjoyed the Kevin Owens, Jay McMahon, and the shocker of Sami Zayn. And that was I don't think anybody saw that coming. Uh, let's see. I don't think I missed the Chad Gable match. I did see Usos and New Day. Uh, that was a decent match, and I forget what Randy Orton Rusev match was. It might have been a squash match. I don't even remember. Um, Corbin's. I do remember this. The Corbin Styles thing, and it was like I think AJ had Ty beat, and then I think Corbin kind of stole that match if I remember correctly. Charlotte Flair, Natalia, that I remember the chair shot or whatever the case may be. And then Jinder Mahal. It's interesting that Jinder Mahal got defeated for the WWE Championship this week on SmackDown in England. Um, it's nice to see AJ win the championship. I'm kind of glad that it's off Jinder Mahal. Not saying he's been a bad heel because he's been drawing heat, especially with the same brothers. By the way, did you see Ginger's punch one of the same brothers this past night on SmackDown? That was interesting. I wonder if they'll if Ginger will leave the same brothers or vice versa. Nakamura, uh, can't say enough about him. Uh, I saw Rude versus Ziggler. Yeah, it was interesting with the finish with the tights thing. Uh, Again, it's been a few months, so it's like it's not too fresh in my memory, except for the Owens and Shane McMahon thing. I still enjoyed that finish. I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the Sami Zayn thing. It was sudden. It was shocking. Um, it was crazy, to say the least. And then I saw Tables, Ladders, and Cheers. Um, that's when Asuka's debut happened. It, I thought that was a great match between Asuka and Emma. Um, it was ironic that Emma got released by WWE a few days later, or a week later. Wasn't expecting that, but it is what it is. Um, I saw Alexander and Swan. I didn't see too much of it. I think I kind of memory skipped over it, but I did see Bliss and James, and I gotta say, Alexa Bliss is right now one of the greatest women's heels right now in this business. I love her cockiness. I love I love the presentation. I love her in ring work. Uh, Mickey James is impressive still. She's still got it, but you just notice with Alexa why she's the champion. Um, so much more so than I don't see much of Natalia being a champion. I don't see a lot of SmackDown, so it's like, and Charlotte as a face is, I, you could debate that. I mean, I like Charlotte as a face, but it's maybe gone a little stale. Enzo Amore and Kalisto, that's been going back and forth for the last few month or so. Kalisto defeated him before that, I believe, on a Monday Night Raw, if I remember correctly. Uh, but Enzo, I think that, they've turned him heel. Uh, you can see a lot more personality out of him, a lot more of what he's truly about. And, and it seems like they like to put Enzo in the main event and the end of Raw. Now, just on a side note, as far as the Cruiserweight division on 205 Live, I wish they would go back to doing the Cruiserweight division on SmackDown. I feel like that, me personally, that's where it should have been the whole time. Just the way, like when Rey Mysterio was on SmackDown, Brian Kendrick, Paul London, to name a few. There's something about cruiserweights and the blue brand that it's a nostalgic feeling. It doesn't Raw, to me, having cruiserweights on Raw is like having midgets wrestle on Raw. No offense to the midgets, no offense to the, because midget wrestling is great in Mexico, and I haven't watched it in a long time, but it's that midgets can wrestle. The what else can I say? Hornswoggle can wrestle. I don't know. uh, Jokingly. No offense to that him. Um, so yeah, I mean, I feel like they should just have since they're both on Tuesday night, it should be logical that you have maybe little bit of a cruiserweight presence. But I get why they do the Raw on Monday night with the cruiserweights and then do 2-5 on Tuesday night lands after SmackDown. But I feel like that could be a little bit. I feel like that could be a stronger element in that department, using SmackDown as the exclusive brand of the cruiserweights. And then for a match that was supposed to be Wyatt and the Demon Finn Balor, got changed to illness, as well as to the supposed reunion of Shield in that pay per view. Both due to both Bray and Roman were out due to an illness, I believe a viral infection, if I remember correctly. So AJ Styles flew in from the South American tour, I believe, South American or South Africa tour, or somewhere, and for the match being, um, it wasn't promoted. It was an awesome match to see between two fine athletes. The AJ Styles and the amazing performer he is, as well as Finn Balor. Those two put on a clinic. And I felt, and that's all I can say on that. But I'm skipping through a little bit. Jason Doran and defeat Elias Sampson. I mean, the promo work there, setting it up, it got a little too much for my liking. That's just my opinion. Whoever saw it, what I'm talking about. just the way it was set up during that. I mean, it's been set up wrong, but just that night, it was just like I could care less about it. What it's like it was kind of pointless to do it, but that's just me. And then the Ambrose, Rollins, and Kurt Angle fill in for Roman Reigns, defeating Miz, Cesaro, Sheamus, Braun, and Kane. That was crazy. That was just a crazy match to begin, just to watch. Uh, just watching that, um, just in general, watching the um, the Kurt Angle go, and then having to be pulled out for a while because somehow he got injured or supposed to get injured, which I knew wasn't true. I knew they would have to pull him out in the end, and then just the storytelling on that, just as far as Dean and Seth fighting, and then facing odds against Miz, Cesaro, Sheamus, and Braun, and what ended up happening towards the end is Braun Strowman turning face, which I think I don't want to say it was shocked, but it was probably about time because of the crowd reactions he's been getting by the fans. And Kane coming back as heel like a few weeks before, setting up the all of that. I mean, it was just fascinating to watch the how things worked out. Uh, so just okay, that was just brief recapping on that part. So uh, that was just a brief summary of those two things. Uh, let's see. I gotta trim my beard. I hate some of this hairs, mustache particularly. Uh, so in other things, startups gain a few close to a month again. It's my 12th year on that, so I'm excited to be doing that. Uh, doing some other different things. I mean, just I've been kind of just laying low for besides working everything. I mean, not much, but it's I'm trying to find something more full time moving forward, but it will come. Uh, it will come. I'm watching a little bit of General Hospital. Uh, it's it's great. Posting some stuff on Instagram too, of course. Talking to different people, meeting up with a couple different friends. It's great. So been talking to a person I went to school with in elementary throughout middle school, and I reconnected about over a month ago. So that's been going great for the most part. Um, so yeah, it is what it is. Um, I'm going to promote Highest Self Yoga. My friend Angela does yoga. She's a teacher. She's an instructor. I think she's out in Arizona, but she has the website www.highestselfyoga.com. So here's a little plug for Angela. Who else can I plug for this evening? Uh, Obviously, I'm going to re-promote the network group and to G2 Network, Mr. Garrison's Film Reviews. I'm going to plug Hotel Henry tonight. There's always different events going on in Hotel Henry. It's an urban resort conference center. Upcoming events include a jazz concert series on the 15th of November, a happy hour the next day, Thanksgiving dinner at the 100 Acres Kitchen on the 23rd, a brunch a couple days after Thanksgiving, and then another jazz concert series the 29th. Hotel where you can, well, I'll let them do the plugging on that one. But Hotel Henry. Let me see the. Let's see. It's at Hotel Henry Resort. Um, the hotelhenry.com is their website. 4444 Forest Avenue. It's registered notes that complex, uh, written by Buffalo State College. Go check the place out. It's phenomenal. It's the pictures don't do justice what the place looks like and what they do there. They got so many things they can do. It's crazy. All right, what else can I plug for this evening? Um, okay, they had a bridal shower. South Buffalo Rugby is having a meat raffle in December. That's always cool. Uh, Bills Mafia. Shout out to the Bills Mafia. Um, and that's all I got for this evening. Um, it was a pleasure talking. Uh, Links on the network group website. Also on my page, if you're interested. Also, we have the past episodes of JFE podcast on my Google page at Fred R-T. Uh, so again, hoping to get a podcast in at Hotel Henry in November at some point. If not, uh, the Undertaker podcast should be coming up. I want to say if Gary gets back from Vegas, um, and if anybody else is interested doing it with us, welcome to do so. All right, I am signing off as Fred Raleigh Taylor, and good night, folks.